Halita. Sohosafoy, Linda K. Sawyer. Halita, Sohosafoy, and Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. Choctaw Hoke. Choctaw Hoke. And we are so excited. we got it done.
We're here.
This is literally, you guys are in our living room where we live here in Texas, and we're so excited to be doing this virtual booth. This is actually the pre-event, so we're not fully getting everything started. You guys are getting the very first glimpses. We just want to make sure everything's working. If you guys have any questions, post them in the comments, and we're going to do some Q&A and just kind of some pre-event fun here. We do have a little video that we're going to show. One of the fun things that we've got going here is we actually have this streaming on Instagram Live and Facebook Live at the same time. So we literally have each of our iPads, which are our babies, and we have one streaming on Facebook, one streaming on Instagram. We have our marvelous friend Molly, who's helping behind the scenes.
Yay, Molly!
Who's helping behind the scenes, just kind of monitor things and make sure that the audio's good, which I'm about to check in with her and make sure that everything's going, that we're okay with Instagram, we're okay with Facebook, that you guys can hear us okay. And we're also going to start some watch parties. So if you're on Facebook, you can go ahead. This video is going to run for like an hour and a half or so, 2 hours, depending on if we have some questions. We want to feature some other Choctaw artists. So if you want to, go ahead now on this video and click to start a watch party so that you can share it with your friends and family who are hanging out on this Labor Day and might want to hang out with us for this afternoon and experience some Choctaw art.
Yes.
Okay.
So we need to start our watch parties.
We are about to do that. Let's reveal the booth.
Okay.
So you're going to step very carefully that way in just a second, and we're going to reveal it for the ones who are on there. We're also going to do some shout outs. So as you guys are logging on, again, drop us a comment, let us know where you're from, and we'll do some audience shout outs as well. Are we ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1.
Ta-da! So this is like being in our booth in Choctaw, and at the Choctaw Cultural Center on our Tuscaloosa Capitol grounds. We set up in the Cultural Arts and Crafts building.
Some common questions that we get
Yeah.
at our booth.
What are some of the common questions we get, Sarah? Did you get some up?
One of the things we can talk about on our art is talk about your process that you go through for doing your photography, how you select your subjects and that kind of thing.
Well,
and your beadwork.
Well, on my photography, we do lots and lots of travels through out southeast Oklahoma, searching treasure hunts. That's what we call them, treasure hunts. We hunt graveyards, historical sites, museums, just finding people that can tell us more. And along the way, I pull my camera out and I take photos of those things that are very interesting to us and that apply to our history and our Choctaw culture. So we're always stopping. We've been on bridges where Sarah's holding an umbrella while I'm photographing something. We go to archives and are always thumbing through and finding things for me to take pictures of. I'll be showing some later, some archives that I took photos of. And as far as like the jewelry, what that is, I was really inspired as we were doing the stories here, especially the Choctaw Tribune stories. I was inspired by our family stories because they kind of influenced that series. And so I, was wanting to make us some jewelry. And so I told Sarah, I said, I want to make us some necklaces that would represent our ancestors and their stories and their journeys. So I started designing different patterns and selecting different colors and stuff to go along with the story and how I felt it should be told. And so that inspired doing the jewelry. it was for us, and then as with my photography, everyone tells me you need to share these things with everyone else. So I'm sharing the photography and the jewelry that I've designed that reflects our ancestry and our culture. So
You're doing great. We're fixing to hit the video.
we're fixing to hit the video. Okay, good, because I don't like standing up here by myself. I'm gonna get behind the table. This is where I'm usually at the show. Is I man the tables to answer questions and tell people about our work and the things that we do to collect all that we have. I don't want to go into telling you about anything yet until we start up at 3, because some people won't be here till then. So
I'm going to let you go ahead and start your watch party, and
Okay.
I'll do some questions here.
okay.
Hey, I want to do a couple of shout outs. I was seeing as I was getting some, I didn't realize I was on the video. I was like, I hope the video's coming okay. I know on my deal it's showing that it's kind of glitching out a little bit, but hopefully we'll be okay. And this will be posted on the event page for afterwards. But a couple of shout outs. I saw Margot is on with us at Instagram. Margot's been a wonderful, loyal reader of mine for some years now and always writes very honoring reviews, and I thoroughly appreciate that. We also have Carole Ayers who joined. I actually spoke with her on the phone just a little bit earlier, and sneak peek preview, if you were on the event page just a little bit ago, you saw where I actually posted photos of some of her art pieces, of the note card set that she's going to be giving away as a part of this event. We're going to be doing drawings all the way throughout, and if you can't get that going, don't worry about it. I was having a little trouble trying to start some watch parties, but if you guys are able to start watch parties for the video, that's great. Just letting your friends know, or you can just share the video, share it on your Facebook timeline. I'm not sure on Instagram if you can share, but you can share on Facebook and let your friends know that this is going on. So like I said, we've got some things planned. We're going to talk about our favorite Labor Day memories and all that good stuff. So before we get started here, okay. Molly is sending me some awesome texts, and I also appreciate one of our other artists, Carolyn Bernard Young. I think she's on right now. Thank you, Carolyn, for jumping in and contributing one of your Christmas ornament. We're going to preview here in just a little bit. She also caught a little typo that I had on the description, so I got that fixed, and just really appreciate everyone jumping in there. And if you guys are having any trouble hearing us, do let us know. We have our air conditioner running right now because it is Texas, and even though I know we're supposed to have a cold front this week, I don't know that it's going to happen, but we're just trying to keep cool while we're doing this. But if you are having any trouble, like just now I shouldn't have been looking down and talking because you obviously couldn't hear me very well, but if you have any trouble hearing us, drop a comment and let us know. We wanted to, because we're almost to the 3 o'clock show, so it's okay. Just pull it up there just so we have it as a monitor. And we are going to do a little preview. A shout out on the music. If you can hear the music going right now, that beautiful flute, guitar, just kind of acoustic music, that's Esteban. They're not Choctaw, but we met them several years ago at the Dallas Indian Market. Fell in love with their music, got one of their CDs, and that's actually something else that we create in our booths when we're at the festival, is we have that music playing. So we are going to play the Labor Day 2019 Choctaw Festival video. It's kind of a reel, and the fun thing is, as you watch, you're actually going to see a familiar face. So I am going to let you hold that to the camera. Don't push play yet.
Okay, I want to push play.
Hold it just a little closer, a little more this way. Okay, back up. It's not going to get on both frames. Let me move this just a little bit closer. Like I said, you guys are getting the pre-show stuff. Melinda's having a little trouble with the buffering. Hey, Brenda. Hopefully, you guys, this video will stabilize out a little bit. Go ahead and step back just a little bit. Okay, so here we go. We're going to play this on Instagram and on Facebook both. And like I said, keep an eye out for a familiar face. Yes. So
That is our Choctaw Labor Day. Boy, watching that made me want to do some dancing.
oh, man. I've gotten a couple of comments that the video is buffering. I'm not sure if that's
Facebook.
because of Facebook. Might be really loaded down today because of being Labor Day and a lot of people on here. You may try refreshing your page. Maybe try a different browser if you're using Firefox. I have seen you snap the phone out of your hand. So if you may try a different browser, if the problem continues, you guys just pray that it'll smooth out. So we are almost at 3 o'clock. So that was some of the pre-event. We wanted to show the video. I don't know if you guys caught, because I know it was kind of small. There's not a way for us to put a video in the stream as we're doing Instagram Live.
You can go to Choctaw Nation Facebook page and find that video and watch it as well. And it's on YouTube, yeah. Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so when you go to YouTube, you can watch it, see it up close, because you might not have been able to see this beautiful face. Standing at a booth very much like this at the 2019 show, where we were set up on a row with other Choctaw artists. And
don't know if I still have
privileged
my
to do that.
voice at that time. After about 2 days, and the
That's
fourth
probably why
day,
you
I'm
were
pretty hoarse.
leaning forward.
Yeah, so they could hear me.
And trying to talk. So that, if you get a chance to go watch that video again, we have a little flash in the Arts and Crafts building. That's where we normally set up and just really have a great time. So as you saw from that preview video, that's Choctaw Labor Day Festival, and it's just a grand time. So we want to take a little piece of that and focus on the Choctaw art, because we can't bring you to a stickball game or a big concert with Jason Krabs or the
Or
Jason
ride the
Krabs
Ferris
with
wheel.
yeah. Or the big country music concerts and all. But we can bring you a little bit of a Choctaw art experience, and that's what we want to do today. And I believe we are now at 3 o'clock, so we are officially starting the event.
Welcome to those who just joined.
I know we have Julie, I believe it's Julie Grace, and Melinda. It was so good to see you. Another Choctaw author. She's someone, I believe, she's living in California still, but she comes to the Choctaw Labor Day Festival, and that's a chance for us to connect and chat. So I'm glad we're getting to do this a little bit, Melinda. I can't see you, but you can see me, and it's a shout out to you.
It's probably the main thing I miss is being able to talk with people and, face to face and share things back and forth of our culture and our heritage.
So let's talk a little bit about what the Choctaw Labor Day Festival is for people who aren't familiar. You may not be Choctaw, and the festival is always open to anyone. It's not only
Choctaw
Choctaws.
and friends.
Absolutely. And so we're going to share a little bit about Labor Day and some of our favorite memories, because myself, I don't remember a year hardly that our family didn't go to the Choctaw Labor Day Festival every year in September, it's usually burning hot. So whether it's burning hot or cool, and it's always hot. Pretty much we'll have some cool downs every once in a while. But what is one of your favorite memories from Labor Day?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I just love, someone had on their Facebook asking about, different questions about your experience with Labor Day. And I just had a whole list of things. I love, probably one of my highlights is going to Brother Bob's Chapel for the National Day of Prayer. That's always a special time for us to go there and join with others in spirit and lift up, our tribe and our country. And that's one of the things that I really missed this year, not being able to do.
I would say that's usually on Sunday mornings. They'll have a really early service, and then it just kind of goes through the whole day there. It's beautiful. Bertram Bob's Memorial Chapel there on the grounds at Tuskahoma. That's where the Labor Day Festival takes place each year. It's Tuskahoma, Oklahoma. It's the Choctaw Capitol grounds, and there's been many a big star out there, country music, contemporary Christian, who come out there, and as they're traveling, they're like, this is a hoax there. It's like, where are they taking us to?
Tuskahoma. Where is that?
It's like, is this really an episode of Survivor? And so then they get there, and they're amazed that they're in the foothills, tens of thousands of people camping out and doing sports.
We're one of the campers usually.
We are, and there's the traditional village. We'll talk a little bit about that. That's actually going to tie into a piece of your art. I know you were sharing just a little bit ago about that. So if you want to share that piece that you do.
Sure.
And if you want to share a little bit about the reception, the Choctaw Art Reception, the Choctaw Art Show, you entered that.
Yeah, right. This was my entry for last year. It's Day's End. I don't know if it's showing up real good on our cameras here, but you can go on our website and you can get a better look at it. But this photo, we were there late one day doing research as usual, running around, and I was like, I wanted to take a picture of one of the Choctaws over in the village. So we went over there, and I was like, oh, it's getting dark. And so I was standing there focusing and trying to look at, what I wanted, the angle I wanted to look to show up. And it took me back, the way the sun was going down and the dusk took me back to my grandparents who had a homestead that was just south of the Red River in Powderly, Texas, just on the other side from Hugo. And it just made me think about, they were off the grid. That's what we call it today, being off the grid. But back then, that was just country people. Their community would have taken you back like 30, 40 years. And so at the end of the day, as the sun was setting, it was time to bed the animals down and get ready for bed, because it was going to be dark and there was no electricity, and we just went to bed. So looking at the sunset and the dust setting in, it made me think of those days, looking at the inside, thinking about on my grandparents' porch, catching fireflies, and when you looked in the doorway, it was dark inside the house, and that was telling me. I knew as a child it was fixing to be bedtime. So those were great memories for me as a child, spending summers with my grandparents there, going picking blackberries, and they harvested wild, and they raised beef animals, and they had a garden, but they pretty much were self-sufficient back then. That was when I was, very young, that I would go and spend summers with them, and I have a lot of fond memories of that time. So that, standing there at that Choctaw just made me think of that, and think of as a child whenever I was spending summers with them. So
Absolutely, that was beautiful.
that was that one. Yeah.
Beautiful. And you had that as a limited edition. That's what you entered in the art
Yes,
show?
yes. Actually, I have it right here.
It's one of my favorites.
Here is the limited edition, and that's the one that I entered in the art show, actually. So, and the matted prints are $25. These are $170, and it's a limited edition of 50. And the print only, you can get the print only for 15. So,
Yeah. And that brings me to, because this is our virtual booth art experience, we have our shopping cart up. It's something we've wanted to do for years. We've wanted to make it available so that not only people who come into our booth when we're at a show, because it's limited to location and everything, we've wanted to do an online store for a long, long while. So we have that up. It's live. You can go to choctawspirit.com, and that will take you to the shopping cart. You'll be able to see the books, the print, the jewelry. We are doing, for Labor Day only, free shipping on orders over $50. So whenever you go and add items to your cart, you go to checkout, just put in Labor Day 20 in the coupon code section, and that will do you free shipping on orders over $50. So wanted to go ahead and say that. If you're watching on your
is
computer,
it 50 or over? It has to be over.
it has to be over 50.
Okay.
50 or more, and free shipping. And let's see if I'm just looking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And so that's on Choctaw Spirit. So if you're on a computer, you can open up a separate browser window and go ahead and go over there and be viewing some of these. Because I know with the streaming video, it's good. I think it's looking pretty good from what we can see. But you'll be able to see a little higher resolution images of the things that we're talking about. And I will say that we have limited quantities on several of the items. So if there is something that piques your interest, you might want to go ahead and put that in the shopping cart. And again, we're only doing the the free shipping on orders over $50 for today, for Labor Day. I think it ends at like midnight, the coupon code, Labor Day 20 for that over on choctawspirit.com. So on the art show, do you want to talk about the reception? The reception is usually on Friday night, isn't it?
Friday night.
What we do whenever we have our booths, I'll just keep interrupting.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When we do our booth, we're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, is it? We're not open on Thursday. We set up on Thursday. We're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Everybody, starts getting out of there pretty soon because they're 12-hour days. We have to open our booth at 10 in the morning, and we close up at 10 at night. We still have lots of stuff that we like to do at Labor Day personally,
Yes.
so we take turns slipping off and going and enjoying the festival grounds
Go
and the
play
activities. Yeah, so we'll take turns playing hooky. And one of the things that you do on the first night, Friday night, is the art reception.
Yes, I love going to the art show. Beautiful, beautiful. You're going to get to see some of the other artists. You're going to get to see some of the other art here in a little bit. There is always just some wonderful works of art there that I just so admire, and it's so much fun to see the winners and see them recognized for the work that they do, because artists are the culture bearers. They're the ones that preserve and and project our culture and our history. That's what got us into all this. Is we're artist preservationists. We wanted to preserve our culture and our history, and we wanted to be true to it, as true as possible. So we do a lot of research, due diligence in making sure that what we're passing on is accurate as possible. And so I just love seeing that the artists at the art show being recognized for the work that they do, because it's a very important work. And then, you know, they always serve us this wonderful buffet, and I slipped Sarah a plate back.
They do
to
the
the
guy
booth
where they like put a
because she
stack
doesn't.
aside for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Because she doesn't get to go to the art show because one of us has to stay at the booth. So I'll put together her plate, take her a special plate back for that. So Friday night's buffet night for us.
This is like shrimp and cheesecake, and I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
yeah.
always gourmet.
Yeah, yeah.
Always gourmet.
That's really good. So anyway, yeah.
We're
So
good.
that's the art show.
And of course, they always have the winners, which we have a lot of those featured that we're going to be talking about today, and kind of featuring their art a little bit, because again, these are the artists that we've built relationships with over the years, that we've been at the same shows together. And at Labor Day this last year, they did put all the Choctaw artists on one row, so we really had that camaraderie going with the different Choctaw artists and booths that were there. And of course, we couldn't do everyone, and if we missed inviting you, we tried to connect with the ones that we normally visit with quite a bit, but all the Choctaw artists, again, do marvelous work in preserving our history and culture. So we just couldn't have a Labor Day kind of virtual booth without including them as well, because that's such a critical part. On that note, I do want to just make a quick disclaimer that we are registered artists. We're registered artists of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. We're not official representatives of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, the tribe. We're not employed by the tribe. We're independent artists. That said, we've gotten a lot of support from the tribe that we really appreciate. We work closely with the language department, the historic preservation department, and with people like Judy Allen, who's the historic officer there, to make sure, again, we're being as accurate as possible. So we know a ton of people in the Choctaw Nation, a lot of friends that we're really missing. But some of them are on here. And I just want to do a couple of other shout outs, Choctaws and friends that we love you guys. Molly said love the music in the background. Again, that's Estimba. We really enjoy their music. If you want, I guess I could spell that, but I'm not exactly sure. I've got it down on their CD. But if you have a question about that, drop a comment and I'll give you their information. Julie Grace says her internet, her video's working fine now. We have Mike Cathy, shout out from
Mike.
Chicago. And that's wanted to do that. Let's go ahead and make sure that everyone comments with a shout out of where you're from. I know we've got Chicago and Phoenix, Arizona, love it. Estes Park, Colorado. Melinda was saying about the people there. And so wherever you're from, go ahead and comment your location. You can just put your state. If you don't want to put your city, you can put your state, either one. And we will enter you in the drawing.
Yeah. We've got some art to give away.
We do. And we're going to be starting with this. So go ahead and make those comments. And like I said, Molly's going to grab those and put those over on a sheet for me. And I'm going to draw a number. And we'll go ahead and get this, the first one done. And we're going to do this probably until 4 o'clock. You can enter until 4 o'clock. And then at that point, we'll close entries and we'll do the final drawing as we're wrapping up. But this from Carolyn Bernard Young, beautifully. I probably need to put it over here with the Instagram video. Very, very beautiful wrapped package. This is an ornament. It's a Christmas ornament. Her subtitle is Tribal Stories in Clay. Love that. Mm-hmm. Carolyn, I'm going to read her bio. So let me just. Oh yeah, I can't go over there. I'll do some Instagram shout outs in a minute. Carolyn. And I believe, if Carolyn, if you're on, if you want to share your, I've got your website so for those on Facebook, Carolyn's website is in the description of this video. It's also on the event page itself with her art a little further down. On Instagram, after the video's over, or if you have another window open, you can go to my bio on Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, my author page, and you can click the link that's in my bio, and it will take you to Choctaw Spirit Store, or you can click on the 3 of the other artists that we have their websites for the event. So Carolyn, I love your website. By the way, it's very professional, beautiful, really showcases your work. So her heading is Native Art with Choctaw Roots, and Carolyn says, "My Native American heritage is rich with stories of suffering and triumph, the foundation of who we are today. Our sense of identity may be lost forever if we don't preserve and pass them on. I create ceramic art that speaks to the heart of the stories and the souls of my ancestors." I love that. So we are going to go over, again, go ahead and get your comments in with your location on whether you're on Instagram or on Facebook. And I'm going to give everybody just a couple more minutes because I think we've still got some that are being pasted over. So here in just a couple more minutes, we're going to do a drawing and give away Carolyn's ornament that she sent. So thank you, Carolyn, for taking part in this festival through that.
Yes.
Or this art event, art experience. I want to share while we're getting everyone in on Carolyn as well. Again, just as we were inviting these artists, and I was thinking about how we knew them, how long, the different ones that we've known, and I started looking around the house, and I was like, we have representations of their art throughout our house and in my office. And as I was thinking about Carolyn, this is one of her cards that came with this beautiful handcrafted pottery piece. And I still remember the day I got this. I was at a Choctaw gathering, cultural gathering in Grapevine, Texas. I had actually gone, you had another activity that day, so I had gone in. It was just me, which if you know, if you guys know us, it's a rare sighting to see one without the other, but it does happen occasionally. And as I was there at the booth, it was just a 3 or 4 hour show. It was fairly short, and I was set up next to Carolyn Bernard Young. And as we were sitting there, in between speakers and other things that were going on, cultural dances and exhibits, we just chatted and we talked about our art and what we did and the inspirations behind it. And we got near the end, and she's like, "I want some of your books." I was like, it's funny because the whole time we've been sitting there, I've had my eye on this turtle. And I've always been kind of drawn to turtles. People still give me turtles. I do have quite a few turtle things now, but this was one of my earliest pieces that I collected, and I was like, I watched it that whole 3-4 hours that we sat there, and a lot of our other pieces sold. This one did not, and I was like, what do you think about a barter? We could trade books for this pottery piece. So I did that, and Carolyn walked off with signed copies of my book, and I have this piece that actually goes in our living room. If you notice, we did not decorate our living room specifically for this show other than this piece right here. This is, we just have a lot of native art that's been gifted to us or that we've bartered or purchased and collected over time. And this is one of the pieces that actually goes up on one of those shelves. So that will return there soon. Okay, we ready to do the drawing? First drawing?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We're drawing for this Christmas ornament.
Okay.
It's by Carole Bernard Young,
Okay.
Choctaw artist.
And the winner is Lori Ferris.
Lori Ferris, yeah.
Of Austin. Aw.
Awesome.
She commented back, love the jewelry, hope next year it's back to normal. Thanks for hosting this. Lori, it's so good to her. Lori or Laura, it's so good to have you on here. Congratulations.
Yes.
I believe I put my email address in the description. Just send me an email with your physical address, and we'll get that shipped to you. Yay! Love that. Thank you again, Carolyn. All right. So I know you talked about Days End. Do you want to go through with? Okay. Someone asked if they could take. Hold on, just a second on that. Someone asked if they could take a closer look at the art, and Carolyn says we can open the box. I was going to open the box, and I was like, oh, it's wrapped so pretty. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to.
I think we can
get it back.
on.
But now that the winner, Lori, has seen it, we're going to go ahead and unwrap
I
it.
think we can get this. I can put this.
We'll
back
wrap
on.
it back
We
up for
we
you.
do this all the time with our
Yeah.
boxes.
I don't. She's telling that way. Oh my goodness. See, I haven't seen this either.
Mhm.
I just know her work is
Oh wow.
stunning. So I'm going to bring that
Yeah, it's
over.
gonna-
I'm going to leave it in the box because I'm scared.
Take it around. Let's do a
All
close
right.
up of that.
Can you
Yeah, let me check it out.
check it and we'll do a close up on Instagram and a close up on Facebook so that you guys on both locations have a chance to see it.
Okay. Yeah. It's a buffalo ornament.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to read the card. Let's see. After more than 20 years as a potter, my hands developed chronic tendinitis. Oh. As it became more painful, I resolved to let go of the wheel to create more sculptural work that would reflect my heritage and include my signature buffalo work. Oh, Carolyn, this is beautiful. So it's going to come with her card here, her artist photo, and beautiful. And I know Carolyn and all the artists that we're featuring today are all registered artists with the Choctaw Nation as Choctaw artists. So they're just beautiful. All right, so that's Carolyn. Okay.
Are we looped on our
So,
music?
you know, let me. I'll check that in just a second. So we also had Brenda Langley from Phoenix, Arizona. It said her ancestors are from Red Bank, Alabama, and Mississippi. Awesome. Our ancestors are from Mississippi. We have Melinda Bush, Rialto, California. Margot, I mentioned a minute ago, from Silver Spring. Julie Grace from Lebanon, Missouri. We have Carolyn from Weatherford, so I was just showing her art. So that's another reason we were there together at that show, is we're both Texas artists. We're tribal members of the Choctaw Nation and Texas artists. Carole Ayers, who I mentioned earlier, we've got a card set from her, is from Kingston, Oklahoma. I'm looking at your address like I don't know it. I sent you stuff. We have Mallory Reynolds, welcome, from Oklahoma City. Cindy Wilson from Buffalo, Missouri. And Miss Linda Teal, who is actually a very old friend of ours from the area.
Hi, Linda.
And here in Texas, back in the old 4-H days, which has been more years than I will admit on camera. But welcome, 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 all of you. Again, thank you for dropping that. If you're just joining us, be sure and drop us your name and where you're from, so you'll be entered in the next drawing. And everyone that's already done that, you're still entered. We still have you on the list, and for the upcoming drawings that we have. All right, now on your photography, or did you want to do
I think
your
it's
books?
your
You want to
turn
go-
over here to
Well,
talk about your art.
I gotta fix the music, so
Okay, I see. Well, I can talk about this piece here. This, Sarah in 2012 did a program with the National Museum of American Indian in Washington, D.C. She was chosen for their Artist Leadership Program. And we were there for 2 weeks doing research. Of course, we're always working. Wherever we go, we're working. So we're up there doing her Artist Leadership Program and at the same time doing more research. So we actually got an appointment to go into the National Archives, into the vaults where our treaties are kept. And we got to go in there, and I just asked them, can I take a picture? They said, sure, they're your treaties. So I got to do a photo shoot of some of our original treaties that are stored there with the, what are those congressional?
First acts of Congress.
Yeah, the first acts of Congress. They are stored in that vault with those. So, they had, I think there was one or two of the treaties that weren't available. But this is of the Treaty of Mount Dexter in 1805, I believe it was. And one of our prominently known chiefs, Pushmataha, this was actually, I believe, the first treaty that he signed. And so the treaty is real long. So I did it in sections, and I, of course, got his signature as well. So I had that on my computer forever, and one day I was going through photos and looking at photos that I wanted to process to share, and I came across this particular one, and I was just relishing in the memory. And my oldest son was sitting beside me, and he was doing some work on his computer, and he glanced over and he said, "Mom, you need to share that with others." And I said, "Okay, I guess that'll be the next print that I release." And so I call it the Nico Great Metal Minkos, because that's what they're described here as on the side note. And so I have this as a I do. I have it as a limited edition as well. It's a 50 limited edition of 9x6s that you can order as well. I don't know if we have that on the website yet, but if you're interested in anything like that, just always email us. But this was a really special photo shoot that I got to do with this. Loved it.
Yes.
Loved it. Was feel very honored to be able to do that.
We're very honored in all the work that we do, and have that privilege of going into these places that it's rare opportunities to do that. And so when we do that, we want to bring it out and not just keep it on our computer, but bring it out and share it with our people and with our friends and with those who maybe even decades from now, future generations will have these pieces and these this that we've preserved in our art, and all the artists that are working for that native artist. Let's see. I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to talk because we do have a package deal on the website. Again, that's ChoctawSpirit.com is our, finally, we have a e-commerce store thing there on my author page, SarahElizabethWrites.com. But you can just go to ChoctawSpirit.com, and that'll take you directly to the shopping page. And do you want to take a little break?
No.
So on there we have a special package deal that normally this is something that we probably would have done at the Trail of Tears walk, our commemorative walk that we have each year in May, which again is something that we treasure doing and seeing friends and our family and our relatives in Choctaw Nation. This book, in tying in with the project with the Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian, this is actually the first book that I did, and I did it with 9 other Choctaw authors. I was the editor of the collection. One of my stories is in here as well. It's called Touch My Tears, Tales from the Trail of Tears, which is the book that most people are familiar with. We sold and gave away so many copies of this book, and I know it went to a lot of family. It's gone around the world, and really grateful for the journey that this put us on. Yes, in schools. So this is, again, I was in a program with the Smithsonian National Museum of the American Indian Artist Leadership Program, which included the 2-week trip to DC, where we did a lot of research in the National Archives, the American Art Museum, got to see some of Gatlin's original paintings of the Choctaw people from Mississippi back in, it was pre-removal, or right around the time of removal in the 1830s. So it was just a phenomenal experience to see all of those things and do that research, and a great deal of it found its way into Touch My Tears. And I'm still in contact with most of the authors there that are in this book, except for three of them. Three of them have passed on, and that's something that I'm very grateful that we were able to do this, because those three that did it, I know at least two of them based it on their family story. Their stories that had been passed down through the generations of their ancestor who crossed the Trail of Tears as a child or as an adult. And a lot of them were the children's stories that were passed down. And they based the stories that are Touch My Tears, they based their story on that family story. And I'm so grateful that we captured it, and it's now in this printed form that will hopefully last beyond any of us in sharing that story. So that is, oh yeah, I guess I could do that. So we like to do everything family. So you'll notice it's kind of funny. Molly was letting me know, again, Molly's helping monitor the comments. Thank you so much, Molly, for jumping in there and helping us with this. But she was mentioning that John, my brother John's face was kind of the center frame for one of our cameras. We're going on Instagram and Facebook here, and I just kind of paused and I was like, which one? Which John? Because this is actually my brother, Johnny, who graciously was on, modeled for the cover of this.
Only took 500 shots.
This is actually him as well, so that's why I was like, which one is him? But yes, she did the photography on this, and yeah, it took about 500 shots and almost drove our graphic designer over the edge trying to get this sunset right. So we have a tear and we have the sunset to represent the Trail of Tears, but then also the hope that our people carried with them, the faith and the resilience and the hope that our people carried with them to Indian territory, to what is now Oklahoma. And so that was really important. We put a considerable amount of thought into this cover design, and I'm so grateful for how it turned out, and I'm grateful to my brother, Johnny, our youngest son, for holding still long enough for us to capture those dear eyes there. We have, so that book is normally $15. My paperbacks signed are $14 and $16. And then we have this necklace, Trail of Tears necklace. Do you have the description you wanted to do on it? And this is a choker with, I love this, because you're always necklaces and trying to get that clasp. This is a magnetic clasp, so it just, I love how it does that. It's so easy. And there, again, going back to my turtles, they're turtle bead tips. And I know it's kind of, let me see. Do you want to go around to the camera right quick and see if we can get, we'll see if we can do a little bit of a close-up on this. Like I said, the video quality isn't the greatest. And again, we have these on our website. You'll be able to see them a little bit better as we do that. But we have the little tiny little turtle bead necklaces, and she's going to tell you a little bit about how she created this.
Well, I do write up and put a back cover with each of these photographs. The story comes with it, and then with the jewelry designs, I do a card that goes with them as well that describe the story behind the piece. So on this one, on the Trail of Tears, I'll just read it to y'all. They left the brown earth mound of our ancestors behind. Red stained the trail they walked. A black cloud hovered as they buried their dead. Crystal tears flowed. Even so, the white glow of their faith and hope for the future generations carried them to our new homeland. May we never forget their legacy. So that's what that design represents.
And the beaded chokers are 18-inch generally. I think
yes, they're 18
I think your
inch.
other one is 15 to 18, but this is a 18-inch. It's normally 56. We do have it paired on the side as a package. We've done that because we found people like to, the jewelry is it can be a piece that when you're wearing it, you can share the story and share a little bit about what the Choctaw people went through in those days, and how it even weaves into American history. We work that in the stories, and so it's our shared history. So we want to share that. So it's on a package where you save $10 if you get both of them, the book and the necklace together. And again, it'll be free shipping with the Labor Day 20 coupon code. You can put that in whenever you finish shopping on ChoctawSpirit.com. It's our site. I want to do a couple of. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to do a couple of other Facebook shout outs here. We have Celia Stahl Meadows, who is joining us, and
Hi, Celia.
Works at the Choctaw Nation. Also an author working on, believe it,
Yay.
Celia, you'll have to jump in there. Is it a middle grade, young adult book that she's working on? Last time we had a conversation. V. Marie Sarton, welcome. And Carolyn, yes, her piece that we showed earlier, the Buffalo Ornaments, available on her website. Again, her website is in the description of this video. I believe it's CarolineBernardYoung.com. Eric Reed's joining us, who's fellow Choctaw here in Texas. So good to have you on here.
Don't be hitting anyone with a rabbit stick.
That's actually how we met him. That was up at the powwow, wasn't it? The Choctaw powwow.
Mm-hmm. At the Choctaw Event Center.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we weren't set up at that event. We were at a friend of ours who was set up there and kind of visiting with him. And Eric got a hold of one of the rabbit sticks, and he was talking about how it was used, in hunting rabbits, how Choctaws use it in hunting rabbits. So that was how we actually met him. We had a great conversation. I actually got to see him in March at the UTA powwow. He and his mother were there, so we got to visit. That was really cool. So great to have you, Eric. Marie Sarton, you said Chapisawachiki is based on my ancestors and is my first Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer book. Thank you. Yes, Chapisawachiki. I actually had someone else asking about that this past week. Beverly Grant, who has her husband was also in that same lineage, and Diana Street was the author of that, and she's a descendant as well. So she based that story on her actual family story, and she's a young author. I know someone asked if she's passed, but she's a young author. I say young, my age a little bit, there I'm younger than I look, but anyway, Celia says that her book is young adult that she's working on, so hope it's going well.
Hopefully that's for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Linda says love the hope they had. Absolutely, it was a difficult journey. We don't gloss over that it was challenging trials. I think about our ancestors, which will probably share their story in a bit about crossing during the removal. So it's definitely a tremendous journey, a very difficult, tragic journey, but they did carry that hope and carried it on and passed it on. They walked the trail for us, and they passed it on to their descendants, that hope and faith. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, on on the Trail of Tears, do you want to go ahead and share a little bit about our family story before we move into kind of some of the other layers of history that we have?
Well, my grandparents, you can call them my three great grandparents, my third great generation grandparents, were both youth. My grandfather was about 12 when he crossed the trail with his family. He buried his father on the trail, and my grandmother, who he was married to, or later married, she was about 15. She didn't cross in the early group. She crossed later on with the latter groups. And the stories handed down say that she also lost her mother on the trail in a drowning. So when they came, they were young, and they had to start with a single parent raising them, and they did very well. They were very resilient and very determined, and educated themselves, worked hard, and ended up with, in the Hugo area, Grant specifically, they were the Roebucks. If you go up to 271 from the Red River going north to Hugo, you'll see on the west-hand side of the road a sign for Roebuck Lake. And that was their place before the Dawes Commission. That was the Roebuck Ranch that was well known there. The Roebucks were well known there. It's William and Mary Ann Roebuck. And they raised, like, I think it was 8 children. They had a grist mill, a cotton gin, they raised cattle, and they were, my grandfather served the Choctaw Nation in many offices, official capacities. He served as the treasurer, the national secretary, the national auditor, and then he served twice as the president of the Senate. So, and then some other offices. I know he was called judge at one time, but I've not been able to verify that yet. I'm still working on that. He was chief commissioner of claims at one point. So when we go to the Tobuscue Courthouse, which Cheryl will be talking about that later in McAllister, that's special to us because his work was during that time. So, you know, almost definitely he would have been working out of that courthouse, doing his work for the Claims Commission. He made trips to Washington, D.C. On behalf of the Choctaw Nation, the Choctaw people, and so they were very involved in our tribe and with our people and for their future.
Absolutely. Do you want to share about your necklace pieces? Do you have those, the Honey King and those? Do you want to just briefly touch on those?
I'll briefly touch on those. I'm not going to pick them up.
Okay.
Next month, I think we're planning on doing another art show, and we'll talk more about the jewelry. But you can go on the website, ChoctawSpirit.com, and when you click on the pieces, it will have the stories that go with the piece that's on there. But I have one. This one is from William's father, who died on the Trail of Tears and was buried on the Trail of Tears. That necklace represents him. He was, per family stories, he was known as the Honey King when they lived in Mississippi on Honey Island. So he had an apowry there, and he was known as the Honey King. So that's the Honey King necklace. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go.
And you have
this one. This one represents my grandmother, who was William's mother, the Honey King's wife. She was called, per family stories, he called her the Little Blue Hen. So I made this necklace in honor of her. This design I created in honor of her. This one, I can't reach it. There's another one up there, and it's called William's Arrow, and it is the love story of William and Mary Ann Roebuck. So that necklace represents their union and how they came together. So, on the website, you know, there's more descriptions of the others that are on there as well.
I was chuckling. Lori Prescott said that we could get a job on the QVC because we're making her one at all. I know. This is not a shopping channel thing, but this is, you know, I do understand. We are, one of the ways that we're able to do our art, the way we're able to preserve this history and culture is through people who do support us, through purchasing our art. So we really appreciate that. So know that whatever you decide to purchase today on ChoctawSpirit.com, that you are helping support Choctaw artists in the perpetuation and the sharing of Choctaw history and culture. So we truly, truly appreciate that. We truly appreciate everyone being here today. Melinda says she loves hearing the story behind the art. That's what we do. We love sharing it, and that's something at the end of the Labor Day Festival that we were talking about earlier, the Choctaw Labor Day Festival, we have no voices left. at the end of it, because we have literally talked to hundreds of people and we have shared these stories hundreds of times, which is a privilege. It's a lot of work. It's exhausting. I usually end up sick afterwards at the end of it, and it takes us several days, if not weeks, to recover after we get through packing everything in. One thing about doing this virtual booth is we're going to tell these stories once for you guys, and if you're watching the replay later in the week or whatever, we're doing this on Monday afternoon and Labor Day, but if you're watching it, you're getting to hear these stories again. So this is a good way of doing it. We of course missed the festival, but we're right here in our living room. It was very strange to just go back in my office and bring out the books and stack them up, and I need those other ones to go back, and instead of having to pre-pack everything, load our van up to the rooftop and arrive there looking like a hippie van, and breaking out our tents and setting everything up in our booth. So this has been fun. It's been a challenge getting all of this together, and even deciding where in our house that we would be able to move furniture around and get this set up so that you guys could experience our booth almost just as if you were at the Choctaw Labor Day Festival. So, all right, I think we'll go ahead and do another drawing. So, because we want to keep featuring the Choctaw artists that are participating in this. So, if you haven't yet, if you're just joining us, go ahead and drop where you're from. It can be your state and your city, or just your state, whichever, and let us know where you're from, and that will enter you in the drawing. We have Molly, who is scavenging up our comments and keeping things rolling and posting those on a doc, and we're doing the drawing off of that. So if you've already done that, don't worry, you're still entered from the earlier drawing, but go ahead and drop that in there, and we will get you entered in the drawing. We're going to do it here in just a couple of minutes. And do you have anyone in particular on picture? Well, let's do Paul next. Okay, so this, I have some extra stories on this too. I have stories about all these artists because, like I said, we get to hang out with them during Labor Day and that sort of thing. If you want to go check the camera, I will show this as up close as I can. This, I also posted the full pictures of this on the event page, which you should be able to go back and look at. So this is the artwork of Paul King. If you can view that. And he actually put my name on the back of it too. So, are we still live on those?
On this one, it says live video has ended.
Okay. You talk just a little bit about Paul.
Okay.
And I'm going to get this back going.
Okay, this, can you see it in on this one?
Yes.
Okay. Paul King, of course, is one of our favorite artists.
All of them
they're
are.
They're all our favorite artists. Let's see if I can read this on the back. It has Okla and Homa, which is people. Okla means people, and Homa is red, from the Choctaw language, and it gives our state its namesake, Oklahoma. Reverend Cyrus Byington learned the language from Mississippi Choctaw and was recognized for translating and creating to the written word. A page from a dictionary of the Choctaw language serves as a background to these Choctaw veterans, and as they celebrate their service as warriors in the guard dance. The
Gourd
diamond
dance. Gourd dance.
I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on. In the gourd dance, the diamond pattern is traditional motif of the Choctaws and represents the diamond back rattler. Passive unless provoked. So, for more details now, you can go to Paul King's website, which is pk-artz.com.
Yay. So this is a beautiful pack of note cards. Love this quality box here that we packed it in. And I'm going to go ahead and read Paul's bio that he has here on his website, showcasing his stunning artwork. PK Arts was created by Paul King in 2012 upon his retirement as a graphic designer and illustration educator. As a visual storyteller, King likes to communicate with his art in a variety of mediums, techniques, and images. He appreciates the arts and the artists who have a passion to create. Paul believes there is not a right and wrong way to create art, as it is to be enjoyed in both the viewing as well as the creating. If you see something you like or are interested in purchasing, click on the envelope at the bottom of every page and let me know. Thanks for viewing, and remember, earth is nothing without art in it.
That's
So,
right.
thank you.
Art tells
Paul
the
King,
stories.
Yes, I really encourage you guys to visit these artists' websites and just be blown away by their artwork.
Yeah.
That said,
Incredible.
we are going to choose the winner for the note card set.
Awesome.
Let's see. Let's go over making sure I do this correctly. We're going to randomly generate a number that's going to give us our winner. Brenda Langley of Phoenix, Arizona.
Yay, Brenda. Congratulations.
All right, Brenda, if you'll send me an email with your physical address, we will get these beautiful cards mailed off to you. I need to order a pack of those too.
Yeah. And speaking of the Diamondback, now, Choctaw Nation, the Choctaw people have always had a relationship with the Diamondback. I'll read you a little excerpt here that comes off the card, the back card for this piece. This is a design that I made representing the Diamondback. And by the way, these rope necklaces, they come with a logo bead that has our Choctaw Spirit logo on it. So they come with that. But this one represents the Diamondback rattlesnake. That's what it's called, it's the Diamondback. And I'll read you what's on the description card for it. The Diamondback design and its colors allow this snake to blend into the surroundings where it lies in wait by a log for prey. These snakes keep rodent populations down. It is said that the Diamondback rattlesnake was used by the Choctaws for food and medicine. Choctaws have always had a healthy respect for the reptile, using its distinct diamond design on clothing, jewelry, pottery, and other objects. So that's what's on the card that comes with it.
And again, just to let you guys know, because I know myself, whenever people are talking about their art or they're talking about a course or a book or something, everyone's kind of toe tapping, like, how much is it? How much is it? So just to let you guys know, the rope necklaces are $42.
I think so. Isn't that bad?
Yeah, that's one of the things when we do an event and we haven't done one in a while, and we're like, hey, are you familiar with our work? And they're like, no, I'm not. And we're like, we're not either. We gotta get refreshed here.
It's been a while since we've done a show.
But the necklaces, the rope necklaces, are on ChoctawSpirit.com as well. And do you have the Diamondback as a choker?
Yes.
Or am I thinking of something else?
It's
Okay.
right up there.
Can't keep up with what we have either. Our inventory's grown so much over the past 7 years now. 7 years is when 2013, Christmas 2013 is when we put out Touch My Tears, which was our first. And this is what happens when your art, you just grow with it. But again, it has the magnetic clasp with the turtle bead tips, 56 on the chokers for the Diamondback. One of the other things in thinking about the Trail of Tears is Toshba Story. And this was published in January 2016. And Toshba had such a remarkable experience crossing the Trail of Tears as a young boy, going back to what we're saying on preserving family stories. I'm not a direct descendant of Toshba, but I had one of his, someone who was a direct descendant of his who read and endorsed the book, which meant a great deal to me, Beverly Bringle. The book was, we found a manuscript, or my mother found a manuscript in her many 30 years of research on the Sequoia Research Center's website, and it was this manuscript that just captured our hearts. It captured my heart, and I knew I wanted to bring that out. It's wonderful that it's preserved in the archives, but the most people are never going to read it. They're never going to know that story in a way that they would if it was in a book form. So that's why I really wanted to bring that out. I did it as a short story in Touch My Tears, so it's kind of the beginning of Toshba's story. I knew there was so much more, so that's why I wanted to expand it out into a full book. So that's Toshba's story.
These are historical fiction.
Historical fiction, a lot of people, that's a frequently asked question that we have.
What is historical fiction?
And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Any questions about our art, who we are as artists, the Choctaw history and culture, drop those in the comments. But historical fiction it's heavy on the fiction and it's heavy on the history. My historical fiction is, I do take some literary license here and there with events, but for the vast majority, it's the factual. You're never going to see Choctaws living in teepees in my stories because that's not factual. So I do dive into that history and research, and again, going back to, we work with the language department, historic preservation. They read all of my books before they're published, just giving them that. Yeah, pretty. Yeah. I don't think they've missed any. Even my newest book, Chapter Truth, which we'll kind of probably end with, just to make sure we're being as accurate as possible. And occasionally they will catch things that didn't bear up in my research, or I'll go back and I'll find the reference and we'll collaborate on that and make sure that we're presenting that accurate picture. And then moving forward, I'm going to talk about this book a little bit more. I mentioned, my brother John on the cover of this. He's also on the cover of this one because, he's cheap, Choctaw, and handsome. So I think we probably about used him up on the cover.
I didn't have to take as many shots on this one, but I did get vertigo.
She was laying on the floor,
rolling around on the floor.
Yeah.
Trying to get all these shots.
She got the photograph of this. Again, if you're just joining us, this is her photography. So she got this photograph. Our graphic designer did a phenomenal job on it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, this is a Numpa Warrior, Choctaw Code, Choctaw War 1. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in just a minute. But I did want to point out that if you can see this, and when you get a copy of the book, you'll see it. This illustration here of a Choctaw Code Talker is actually a pencil illustration by Paul King. And so really appreciated him allowing us to use that illustration as a reprint in a Numpa Warrior. Really added that extra touch that I wanted to get that illustrated look, not necessarily for the cover, but wanted that to be a part of the book in some way. So really appreciate Paul letting us use that pencil sketch. And a lot of the Choctaw artists that we're featuring today have those pieces of the Code Talkers, and gonna point out one here in a minute. A couple other shout outs. Pat G is on, so welcome. Our distant cousin.
She's a Choctaw cousin.
We got to connect with them and have a meal and all that good stuff.
A great time.
Welcome Susan Charlesworth, you're here, and Bill Moody, Sandra Chisholm Bible. We've got Carolyn Bernard Young, one of the artists that we just gave away her piece just a little bit ago, and Curtis Thompson Sr. So
welcome.
And I may have missed some guys. We're trying to, and especially Instagram. Hope you guys are back on us with Instagram. We lost our video for just a brief bit. We've got it back on, and this is our virtual booth in our Choctaw art experience that we're doing today for Labor Day, celebration of Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day!
Yes. Happy Labor Day, everybody. So
their name and where they're from.
Yeah, so be sure and post your where you're from, and we'll get you entered in the next drawing. We just did Paul King's note cards, so we'll do the next drawing because we have three more Choctaw artists that we're going to be talking about and featuring their pieces. We're going to go to. Is there any? Do you want to go with the horses?
Okay, sure. I don't know if you can see this one very well because of the lighting, but this is the stallion that I got to do a photograph of. We got to do a I don't know, it was a wild ride. We got to go up into the mountains to see the Choctaw horses that the preservationists have been working with for quite a few years. and we were privileged to get to go up on the mountain with them. They took us up there, and I got to do a photo shoot of them in their natural habitat. And it was just, they were awesome. I went up there thinking, I'm going to see these little scrawny horses and take pictures of them. We got up there, they are beautiful. If you can see how muscular, you go on the website and look at the pictures up close. They are fabulous, and they're eating in the wild. They're eating their natural habitat and living in the wild, and they are gorgeous. So I want to give a shout out there to those that are horse lovers to look into the preservation of these and get involved with it. Where would we send them?
I believe it's the Spirit of BlackJackMountain.com.
Yeah, I think it's the Spirit of BlackJackMountain.com, and that will give you information of how to help preserve these horses. Just a second.
And
That's
that's
the wrong thing.
I was going to pull up that.
Yeah. And so with the prints, I always put a back cover. This goes with the print. And with these, I have designated which horse it was that I was taking a picture, or the name of the print for that horse. But let me just read you a little bit about them. This is my Choctaw Spirit collection of the Choctaw Horse Series. The Choctaw Horse Series is from the Rickman Foundation herd and includes Choctaw purebreds. These purebred are well documented as descendants of those brought across the Trail of Tears. So there was an actual professor somewhere in the Carolinas who went through and their genealogy and actually traced them back to the horses that the Choctaws brought across the Trail of Tears. So these horses' lineage are from those who came across the Trail of Tears. And I just had the privilege of going up on the mountains and capturing them in their natural habitat. And I was so grateful to do that. And I wanted to bring awareness about the remnant of these living legacies of our tribe and our culture. So, I think I already showed him. Yeah, I already showed you. This was the stallion of the herd that we got to view. And he was just incredible. You will go on there and see other pictures. You'll see him in other pictures, such as
I was going to
this
say,
one. I don't know if you can see it because of the lighting.
It shows some.
But the story behind this picture here in particular, this is called Challenge. And what had happened is the preservationists, the horses are real familiar with him. So when he goes up, he'll throw some, feed out that's special to them because they don't eat that kind of stuff. And so he threw some out to kind of get them to hang out while I was doing my photo shoot. And I was shooting the stallion. And all of a sudden he looks up and I capture him right when he realizes that all of his mares are gone. There was a young stallion that had taken his mares. And you can see the white of the eye. When you go in there and look, he is shocked. Because he had been, down bunching on the special feed that had been thrown out. And so he takes off, and we take off behind him on the timber road. And we got up to about 25, and he was just leaving us behind. We finally caught up with him, or with the herd, and when we got there, they came busting out of the woods like this. And so I was just click, 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 click. I was trying to get all the shots I could. But so he got after the younger stallion that had taken off with his herd. And then I have another, I don't have it right up here, but I have another picture of them engaging where he actually broadsides him And so he was the other horse was trying to get away. The young stallion, he was trying to get away. And he just kept pounding him and pounding him. And I figured his message was, don't ever do that again. And so that was a wonderful, wonderful photo shoot that I got to do. And on there, I think there's about 9 that I actually went ahead and printed and put in this series. So you can go on ChoctawSpirit.com and see the whole series on there of that photo shoot of the Choctaw horses.
And shipping on
Yes, yeah. And there's free shipping on orders 50 and over.
Oh, love it. So we have a couple of new people joining us. Jane Parent, welcome. And Diana Doyle, welcome. We are, again, ChoctawSpirit.com. So we have our e-commerce site set up. So grateful for that.
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't have I don't think we have the canvas on there. If you're interested in that, email me or drop a comment and we'll get that information to you.
It's a limited edition as well.
Yeah, and all of the limited editions have their certificate of authenticity.
Yes, they come with a certificate of authenticity. Also, the Choctaw horses have been named as the heritage horse of the state of Oklahoma. And so on the limited editions, there's a copy of that resolution of the proclamation of that. So you'll get a certificate of authenticity on the limited edition plus that. So, and they're limited to 50.
And did you mention the back covers come with all the prints in limited editions?
Yes.
Your back covers, okay.
Yeah.
So
they all come with their story. Yes.
Yeah. That way whenever you purchase the prints and stuff, you put them up on your wall. You can keep that story. So when people ask about it, Choctaw horses, about the treaties, about the things that these pieces represent that we're sharing. All right. Do I turn now?
Yeah.
I turn my books. I think I'm going to end with the Choctaw Tribune series. So before I get to that, I'm going to talk about this book. Came out in November of 2018 on the anniversary of the ending of World War I. This is a World War I book of the Choctaw Code Talkers. Many people are familiar with the Navajo Code Talkers of World War II, which had a huge training program. There was like over 400 Navajos involved with it. It was a phenomenal part of our American and war history. What most people aren't familiar with is that the Choctaws were actually code talkers in World War I. So the first war that America joined in 1917. So the Choctaws in 1918, October 1918, actually used our language to transmit messages. Then they were pulled back for arrest and started developing a code, and were actually trained as what we now call code talkers. That was kind of the seeds of, well, I won't go there because I haven't verified all my research on that. But anyway, so the Choctaw Code Talkers, very few people know that they were used, and they were highly recognized during their lifetime, many of them, in newspaper articles, we have military documents, so, and then of course all the descendants that the stories were passed down to, or in many cases they weren't, because they were secretive about it as well. So it was, this project, people ask me, another frequently asked question that I get is, when did you first learn about the Code Talkers? When did I first learn about them, the Choctaw Code Talkers? And I can't really remember a time I didn't know about them, just growing up, going to Labor Day, going to the Choctaw Labor Day Festival every year. They were always honored, going back to the 80s and 90s, and we really started developing and documenting that history. I don't think there was a time I wasn't aware of them. What I was aware of is I wanted to tell their story. I had a burning desire to tell that story in a book form. I'd even written a flash fiction about a decade ago about it, and so I really wanted to do that. It had been on my heart for many years, and one day I just kind of woke up and was like, isn't like we're like in that 100-year time frame of World War I, aren't we? So I went and checked the dates, and the war officially started in 1914. America joined in 1917. Whenever I was thinking through this, it was 2016, and that really pushed the gas pedal on me to, I need to get this book done so that it can be a part of the centennial honoring and recognition
to make them part of the narrative. narrative.
Yeah, make them part of the narrative of the World War One centennial. And so it was a tremendous project, tremendous amount of work, more work than I ever have done for a book or ever thought possible to do for a book. I did 2 years worth of research, connected with dozens of descendants. There's over 120 people in the acknowledgments of this book. I had a lot of help, wide range of help on that book, and it was just a privilege to be able to meet descendants in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, talk on the phone. One of the biggest highlights for this project was getting to go to France for a research trip, and that 10 days there.
Scary for me.
Scary for my mom, going off to a foreign land, especially when you can't speak the language. that and talking about, Anopa is a Choctaw word for language or words, and so I wanted that in the title, Anopa warrior. And so, I was going to France, and I couldn't speak the language. I did go with another Choctaw artist who actually set up at Labor Day as well, and that's one of the ways I really connected with her, who's actually, the sister of Paul King, Tijuana Coconauer, and she was going over there to do a presentation at an international speaking event. So we connected on the phone, and I sort of invited, I can't remember if I invited myself along or she actually invited me, but either way, it was a welcome thing for both of us to be able to travel. We didn't travel together there, we flew over separately, and then once we connected there in Paris, then we only spent a day and a half in Paris total, but we headed out to the French countryside, northeast France, got to go down in actual World War I, German bunkers, French trenches. The greatest highlight was the moment that we drove up this hill to the village of Bonk and drove around the town for a little bit, kind of lost, small village, but we finally made it to the overlook that we'd heard about, and it was the overlook looking the battlefield where the Choctaw code talkers actually did their code talking. I'm getting chills. It's where they actually did their code talking. So we were in where the enemy position that they were facing were at. It was almost impossible to be taken in that position, and so that's in the book, that whole battle scene and how the Choctaw language played that tremendous role in World War I and possibly in World War II as well. So it was really a tremendous honor to do that. The main character is fictional. There are some supporting characters that are fictional. Beyond that, the majority of the characters are the actual men who were a part of it. All of the 19 recognized Choctaw code talkers, their commanding officers, their unit. I read books about the 36th Division, was their division. Otis Leader, which I won't even go there because I could talk for an hour just about Otis Leader. I consider him
incredible.
I consider him, just one of the greatest, if not the greatest, World War I. Yeah, hero of World War I. It was tremendous, the service, and I've actually done separate articles on him. Phenomenal. The main character is fictional. The reason why I did that is so we call it historical fiction. The reason why I did that is for years I was blocked on doing that story, mentally, blocked or in my thought process, because I didn't know which one of the code talkers that I would do the story from their perspective. But I finally came to the conclusion that I needed to do it fictional, because when you're writing a story as a novelist, as someone, and then I write nonfiction too, but as a novelist, you really dive deep into the emotions of the main character and the journey, the inner journey that they're on. And I didn't feel comfortable with projecting on any of the actual real men who were code talkers. And I finally came to that conclusion that I needed to do a fictional main character, and that he interacts with, and is a part, he's Choctaw, and is a part of all the Choctaw code talkers and a part of that group that goes to France, the Doughboys. So yeah, it weaves in the American and military history. This is probably a good time to insert that there is some war violence. I have all ages read my book. It is targeted for adults, but all ages. There's no profanity in any of it. There are some violence in pieces of it. Violence is never glorified. War is not glorified. It's just sticking to, as close to what actually happened. And I would say it goes beyond PG-13 violence on a lot of it, if even that. I mean, some of the stuff that's in movies these days. So anyway, that's Anopa Warrior, Choctaw Code Talkers of World War I. You can get any of my books on ebook, but I know a lot of people on Amazon or any of the outlets. But I know a lot of people like the paperbacks.
Let's talk about the book
When
cover.
you order the paperbacks, they do come signed. I sign them, so these are signed paperbacks. They're 14 and 16. Again, on ChoctawSpirit.com is the best place to order if you're wanting a signed paperback. And if you do an order of again over $50, use the code Labor Day 20, and that'll get you free shipping on orders over $50. So yes, going back to the cover, I mentioned just a little bit ago, this is my brother. What is really cool, my mom did the photography, my mother did the photography, Linda K. Sawyer, which I know we're on my Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, so I'm hosting this on Instagram and Facebook, but just wanted to be sure, because I don't know if we actually said your name, I guess at the very beginning.
I did,
Yeah, so Linda K. Sawyer. So she did the photography. This is, what was really neat with this is my cousin connected me with a private collector in the Dallas area who collects World War I memorabilia and the actual uniforms and equipment and everything. He had a complete World War I doughboy uniform.
That had been in France.
Yeah, and
During the war.
not only is it a complete uniform that had been over there in France during the war, American uniform, it was the perfect size for my I sort of say my little brother. He's my older brother, but he's not real big. So the guys were really small back then. But anyway, so he small build. So this uniform fit him perfectly, and there was no holes, no tears in it. So the collector loaned it to us. The gas mask, the Brody helmet, again in France. What was one of the most amazing finds was, we had the pooties, the little wraps that they had, the ammo belt. He had all of that. Fun little fact, this map, I don't usually share this, so you guys are kind of getting a little extra piece here. This map is actually the paper map that I had over in France whenever I was doing some tour stuff. And so the graphic designer just kind of, scribbled out some stuff and everything. But that's an actual map whenever I was doing the research over there. But one of the really, really cool things is this field phone that my brother's using. This is an actual 1917 American field phone. So it was tremendous. I called museums, I called collectors. I really was trying to even couldn't even get a replica. Couldn't even rent a replica of this to get that. And with the code talkers, they used the telephone. They didn't do the radio yet. So it was the telephone. So that was a really instrumental part of this story. So I really wanted that telephone on the cover, and for us to actually find that telephone was tremendous. And the graphic designer built out the war scene in the background. Just absolutely adore how that cover came out. Is there anything else that I need to do on that? You have a necklace to go with it up on warrior. So no, it's just we're good.
Okay, so inspired by this story, which is incredible, I got to do some of the editing on this book, and
Oh yes.
it was a real work of love. It was. I was very proud of Sarah's work on this. She really sacrificed and worked hard on this book. But of course, we had to make a choker. Well, you can get it wrote too, but to go for the Choctaw Code Talkers. So it has the magnetic clasp with the turtle bead tips, but this design I created in honor of them. It comes in 18 or 15 inch. I know some of them like to wear a 15 inch. So it comes in two sizes, so 15 and 18. And then the rope as well.
Excellent. Well, I think we'll do another drawing. We're actually a little past 4. If you're just joining us, we're doing drawings of other Choctaw artists that normally are on our row, have a booth around us at the Arts and Crafts Building at the Choctaw Labor Day Festival each year. So we're going to draw, probably go ahead, we're at 4:20, so we're probably going to go ahead and draw for a couple more artists. And I have 3, so we'll draw for 2 more. If you haven't, go ahead and leave a comment with where you're from so that we can enter you in the drawing. Again, if you've already done that, you're still entered. We're not taking anyone's names off and redoing it or anything, so you're still entered in the drawing. A couple of quick shout outs. Tasha Wilson has joined us, Arlene Allen, so welcome.
Welcome.
Hope I'm not missing anybody. Again, thank you to Molly for managing the comments and kind of keeping up with everything and everybody. We are going to do Gwen Coleman Lester and her art. She is working on her website, so if you want to get in touch with her for any of her art, I believe I put the description, put her email address in the description of this video. So be sure and go send her an email if you're interested in her art. She does beautiful, beautiful work. Again, she's one of the artists that usually set up with us. I am going to see if you can take this over to there and just show this piece of hers. A lot of you, I think quite a few of you probably saw this over in the event page, but I was just really taken with it. So I tried to share the artist as much as I could, because again, we love them. They, all Choctaw artists, ourselves included, we're really working to preserve Choctaw history and culture. So this is Gwen Coleman Lester, again a registered Choctaw artist. Can you go over to the video?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to have it in front.
Okay, all right, just get over there just a second. Just hold it. So Gwen, this piece is that she's getting. She was actually at Red Earth setting up her booth, and her booth looked great. I saw a picture of it that she sent. But she has contributed an 11 by 14 poster called Prayer, and her work is at the gift shop at the Choctaw the Choctaw Nation Museum at Tuskahoma. So where we normally have the Labor Day Festival at Tuskahoma, there's our old Capitol building there, which actually, I don't know if you can see it on Instagram, but someone gifted us that print of the Capitol building that we have on our wall. Not giving it away, sorry. But she has art in the gift shop there, and also at Tribes 131 Gallery in Norman, or you can email her. So, let's see if we can show that picture of hers before we do the drawing. Okay, so Facebook's getting to see it. And hold on, we blurred out on Instagram. There we go. All right, good deal. So that's her print, or her poster that she's doing, Prayer. And a couple of Instagram shout outs if you guys are still around. Clearwater Media, who I know is Matthew over in Tyler. Good to see you. Margot, good. I'm glad we got our Labor Day video back up. Brendan Albers, one of my First People's Fund family fellow there. And Kevin Sharp, good to see you guys on there. So, I'm trying to keep up Instagram and Facebook. We got you both streaming on our iPads. So, if we miss anybody, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being here. So, that said, let's do our drawing for Gwen's poster. This is an actual poster that she did. So, let me get this refreshed. Yeah, we have those. 15. Generate that. And Celia Stahl Meadows, Tulsa. Congratulations. Yay. We have shared workshops, and last time I think we saw, so anyway, yeah, so congratulations, Celia. I know you're going to enjoy this poster. It's beautiful. I'm envious. I was going to say, it's like, do we get to enter the drawings? We didn't get to enter the drawings. I wanted all of it, but so let's go ahead and do another one here. We'll go ahead and let's do Carole Ayers. So Miss Carole Ayers, oh my goodness, we could talk about Carole and Dawn Ayers for a while.
Sweet friends.
Yeah, so their photos are on the event page. You can go and check out their work on there. Again, they don't have a website, but I posted their email address. She's got the box set of note cards that she's giving away. They usually sell for $10. So, yeah, I'll do the. You can go on the event page because it's really, I don't think it's going to show very well on the phone. But Carole and Dawn Ayers, big fans of my and big supporters of my books, all of our stuff. Really, really appreciate them. I honestly think it was at last year's Labor Day Festival, 2019, that I got this mug from Carole, and she wouldn't let me pay for it. But you know, when an elder tells you you can't pay for art, you just walk away. You just accept it, and so I really appreciated this. She let me pick out which mug, and I selected this one where it has the working together, and I just, with the Choctaw women on it, it just made me think of me and my mama working together on our art and our business that we do. So I picked this out, Carole Ayers piece, very, very sweet. Award winner. I know she's won some things at the Choctaw. I think all the artists that we feature here, they've won awards at the Choctaw Art Show each year at Tushkahoma at the Labor Day Festival. So privileged to have them. And so you can go on there on Facebook to see some of Carole's pictures up close of the pack of cards that we're giving away of hers. Not giving away the mug, sorry. That's that is my piece. So let's see who we have on here. Melinda Bush, congratulations. California, another one of my Choctaw author friends. I can say author this time. She is an author, so congratulations, Melinda. If you will send me, and Celia, I don't believe I have your address, so if you guys will send me your mailing address to my email address, which should be in the description, and send me your physical mailing address, and we will get that sent to you. So excited. All right. We're coming down to the home stretch. I know I put on the event till 5. That was just in case we needed that little extra time. We're going to be wrapping it up here shortly because I know you guys, thank you again for joining us and being a part of it. So we didn't want to go too long. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments. And yes, congratulations again, Melinda and Celia. We are, I think we're coming down the home stretch. I'm going to do the Choctaw Tribune series. Do you want to share, since I just did them before, or do you want to share?
I have one more over here. This is Summer Rain on Tanisha.
Yes.
This was one of my entries at the Choctaw Art Show. And I love this. This is where Sarah was holding the umbrella over my head as it was raining for me to get this shot. And I love this little sliver of the sunlight coming through the clouds there over the river. And anyway, so this is one of my favorite pieces, is this one. This is a limited edition it's a 50. And you can also get it in the print size here.
It's right there.
Yeah. So, yeah. Right
And
here.
that is actually right by the Capitol grounds.
Yes,
Choctaw
it's at
Nation.
Tushkahoma. It's right there by where Tushkahoma is now.
Yeah, the actual town. Right, yeah. Beautiful river.
Yes.
Beautiful. But yeah, it's right there, right by the Capitol grounds. So normally each year at the Labor Day Festival we camp out. So this is definitely a different experience, just thinking about the river, because we like to go to the Choctaw Village and hear storytelling and talking about the Code Talkers. On Sunday at 1 is when they had the annual Code Talker Association meeting, so I always like to slip over there. And I remember the first time I went to it, and it's hoofing it, through the heat, because I'm always staying at the booth as long as I can. And then I'm like, are you good? Are you good? Okay, I'm gone. And I would run over there to the council chambers where they had the meeting there on the grounds. And I always try to catch a golf cart ride. She's a lot better at it. She can catch golf cart rides. I can't. I look too young and I'm too young for it. Anyway, so I usually have to hoof over there. And I remember the first time I went to the association meeting, I believe it was 2016. I was doing some research and getting ready to do the Code Talker book, and just excited, just wanted to slip in. And as I was sitting there and they were getting started, I was concerned. I'm an introvert, and always, whenever they're like, we're going to go around the room and everybody introduce themselves, I get nervous. So I was like, I hope they don't do that, because it was a pretty small group. And then the president of the organization, Nuchi Neshoba, she was talking about a woman who was doing an illustrated book on the Code Talkers, which is actually available. Speaking of Gwen Coleman Lester, she did the illustration on that called Toby and the Secret Code. Was a children's book on the Code Talkers. And so they were talking about that book, and Nuchi was saying, it's like, it's really neat that this lady has done the book, because, we have, every year we have people come in here saying they're going to write a book about the Choctaw Code Talkers, and they never do. About that time, I was like sliding down in my chair. Yeah, I'm Sarah, and I'm here to write a book about the Choctaw Code Talkers. Fortunately, they did not go around and introduce themselves, so I was not put in that position. By the next, or a few years later, I was one of the ones being invited up to share my research at the Choctaw Code Talker Association meeting, and so I've done that a couple of times because of the research that I've done. So that's another piece of Labor Day that I always enjoy and look forward to seeing a lot of descendants of the Code Talkers there, and those who are really working hard to preserve that history. So I think we're going to move into the Choctaw Tribune series. I'm going to kind of wrap up my books. I have 7 books. Briefly, Third Side of the Coin was my second book, and it has some of my early writings in it. I'm sorry, I don't know if Instagram can see that. So it has some of my early writings in it. It's 40 flash fictions, short stories, and it features this stuff that we all deal with in life, and it ranges from contemporary to historical, and just wide. And there's a couple of kind of Choctaw-based ones in that. So that's Third Side of the Coin. My series, the Choctaw Tribune series, is what I'm really focused on right now. Book 1 is the executions. Book 2, Traders, my newest book, Shaft of Truth. I'm running out of steam. You want to talk a little bit about the executions?
Sure. Okay. So, the executions takes you, the whole series takes you through early 1900s Indian Territory through statehood. There's going to be, I believe it's 6 books in the series, and we have 3 now. Book 4 has been written, and it's starting the editing stage. Book 5 is in outline. So I think there's going to be 6, but the executions,
There should be 6.
okay. So the executions.
Yeah, the catalyst for this story, I'm sorry, I had to go grab a drink of water. I was like, the catalyst for this story is this photograph that's on the front here of the last, what was considered the last Choctaw execution of Silas Lewis. And one of the things with Choctaws that was unique all the way up through, almost through statehood, is they only had 2 forms of punishment. If you were caught and convicted by the Choctaw Light Horsemen, which is our law enforcement, still is, they don't have the same, they don't have the same methods of punishment.
No, but they're still
but there was two forms of punishment. You were either whipped or you were shot. And one of the things that was unique with the Choctaws is they didn't have jails. So if you were convicted by the Light Horse, you were set free to go you were sentenced, whichever it was, and you were set free to do whatever it was that you wanted to do, plant a field or bring a crop in or play a stickball game, whatever it was, and then on the appointed date you showed up for your punishment, and that included execution. And one of the things that was unique with Choctaws is they never failed to show up for their own execution. So that was a catalyst for this story, in that in the 1890s, right before Oklahoma statehood, you had the federal government and the tribal sovereignty, and we had this pull of they actually tried to block the last execution, and said that they don't have to do this and all. But the man who was convicted, he did show up and was executed. So I took that, and that was really a catalyst for the series. It's a fictional mixed blood family, or fictional Choctaw family that own a newspaper, and their goal is to get the truth out about the different things that are going on in the nation, all sides of the story. So that's what their newspaper, the Choctaw Tribune, is centered on. It takes them here in different places throughout Indian Territory. In book 2, this is actually, we talked about the Capitol building just a minute ago. That's the featured photo on here with one of the Choctaw Senate that was in session at that time. And so it takes them to the Choctaw Capitol grounds all the way to the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. And that was a really fun adventure, and Choctaws did go to the World's Fair 1893. So it was really neat to weave in that bit of history, and it's really become a highlight of that book, and everyone loves that extra piece there. And then the characters are going through their own journey and their own battle for survival at that point. Chapter of Truth, this is my newest book, so this came out April 2020. That's the year we're in still, right? So this came out in April 2020. We had a virtual book signing. Mike Cathy up in Indianola and McAllister graciously hosted us a few weeks ago up there because this area is really centered around the McAllister, Krebs area, and Italian immigrants, and there are many different kinds of European immigrants that worked the coal mines in the Choctaw Nation. And it was, again, I'm really fascinated by the contradictions and the weaving of history and our shared history in the Choctaw Nation with so many cultures and countries. And in this, you had, European immigrants who had come, to New York and everything, and try to make a go of it, and then they ended up immigrating to the Choctaw Nation. So it was that interesting fold of events and circumstances that I was really fascinated with that book. So brought that together for book 3, and Matthew Teller, the brother in the series, it's kind of a book that centers on him and his journey, a personal journey, and plenty of action and shootouts and fist fights and explosions, and I won't give anything else
the whole
away,
series, I didn't get to say this, the whole series, it covers, the turmoil, the struggles of our nation at that time, and so it covers the in-laws, the outlaws, all the shoot 'ems up,
Yeah.
and also the resilience of the Choctaw Nation, and how that their strength did create a people, a nation there in Oklahoma.
Yeah. So Mallory Reynolds says, I'm reading book 1 now, really enjoying it. Thank you, Mallory. And we have Joanne Culpepper McIntyre joining us, and Kimberly Hines, actually my sister-in-law.
Hey,
so good to have you on here, Kim.
Thank you.
So yeah, just wanted to do those shout outs right quick. But yes, book 1, again, is Executions, Traitors, and Shaft of Truth. The 3 signed paperbacks, we have a package deal going on those at ChoctawSpirit.com today only for our Labor Day special, and those will come down tomorrow. And we're also have the 50, if you do an order of over $50, you get free shipping. Use the coupon code Labor Day 20.
How much do they save on the package?
On the package, you save $6 for all 3 books when you get those. So they're $16 each if you want them individually. And again, they are signed paperbacks. I take great joy in signing stacks of books. It's a privilege to be able to do that, and just think about this dream come true of doing books, being an artist, being working with my mother in our business, in our art venture, and preserving Choctaw history and culture. It's an honor and a privilege. So yeah, those are the 3 books. Just a brief recap on my books. These 2 are the Choctaw Trail of Tears, so 1830s forward. The Choctaw Tribune series, 1890s, Old Choctaw Nation before statehood. It is going to go all the way through statehood, 6 books. I have book 4 written. Yes, I'm working on that one for book 5. Terribly excited to do that series, to finish the series and keep going through these characters. And then A Noble Warrior is a standalone set in post-statehood through 1919 in World War I. So in boarding schools, it deals Armstrong Academy and some of that history. And some of the characters from the Choctaw Tribune series actually found their way into this book. So it's kind of a next generation thing.
Yeah.
You want to recap yours, or?
No, not really.
I will recap hers. So my mother, Linda K. Sawyer, again does the beaded jewelry, the necklaces, the choker necklaces with the magnetic clasp. They all have the story cards that go with them that represent the stories and what inspired the designs that she made for them. And then her photography. So it goes from then when they were in the National Archives, photographing the original treaties through areas that many people recognize in Oklahoma, like the Kiamichi River, the Choctaw horses that are now the heritage horse of Oklahoma. They're working to preserve them. We got to see a herd that came down out of the mountain, and she captured those. And all of our art has the stories with them. If you have any questions, let us know. We're going to go ahead and wrap up with a last drawing. Grand finale. And I say grand finale. All of the artists, I love all of them. So this isn't like, this is the big one. But it is big. So all of them are, and we really appreciate all of the artists that contributed a piece and participated in this, so that we could share again Choctaw art. This is someone else who normally sits up on our row. You will see her art in many places in the Choctaw Nation, including the Choctaw Nation Museum, the Choctaw Nation Health Clinics, the tribal headquarters.
When you go to the headquarters, she did the leaning poles that welcome and greet you there.
Yeah.
She's the one that does.
Yeah. And for the Choctaws, you probably know I'm talking about Janie Simple Umstead. And I've actually had the privilege of interviewing her for a nonfiction story that I did through the Choctaw Foundation. So we've had a lot of great conversations. Again, going back to having pieces of these art in our own home. This sits on my desk. It's a print coaster, a ceramic coaster of one of Janie's paintings that she did. Very prolific artist. I am going to read her bio here. Get it on her website. Be sure to visit her website. It's in the description of the video, or if you're on Instagram, just go to my bio and click that link and click Janie Simple Umstead, and it'll take you to that. So Janie Simple Umstead is an artist that has spent her lifetime working in a variety of mediums, including oils, acrylics, sculpture, and the especially distinct medium of batik. She is a descendant of 2 Choctaw chiefs, and her art exudes the spirit of her Native American heritage. And Janie, I was messaging with her on Facebook, and she is contributing. I posted a picture of this on the event page as well. She's sending a matted, printed of a painting that she did called High and Mighty, and it's an image of stickball players going. And we talk about Labor Day Festival. That's a big highlight, is going to.
So we shut the booth down and we run to the stickball field,
to the stickball championship, and usually see if the Oklahoma Choctaws take it.
Yeah.
And so it's the mat is 16 by 20 inches. The image is an 8 by 10, High and Mighty. So really grateful for
Do we have it on here?
Janie contributing that. It's on the event page, so you can go see that picture and be sure and go out and check out her website. So we are going to do this drawing. Pull up the right thing here. Alright. Just want to make sure we enter this correctly. Margot Lee Williams.
Congratulations,
Silver
Margot.
string. Again, Margot's one of my super fans, so really that's awesome. Okay. Congratulations, Margot.
Yay.
If you're hopefully still with us on Instagram, send me an email. I know you have my email address. We email often, so send me an email with your physical address, and we will get that sent to you. Janie Simple Umstead. So hope you enjoyed this time of being at our booth that we would normally set up, Choctaw Labor Day Festival. We did it complete with backdrop and lights and all this stuff. Normally we'd have a couple of tables, but we put it all together here on a table. Be sure, if you want to shop our booth, go to choctawspirit.com, and if you do an order over $50, you can put in the coupon code Labor Day 20, and you'll get free shipping. And
have the special.
yeah, we have some package specials on there. You'll see that on the tabs. Everything's, you can search or you can shop all of our products, or you can go to the individual categories: jewelry, fine art, photography, books, and then the special deals that we have going. There's some final words about Choctaw art, Labor Day.
Just love sharing the treasures that we find. You know, it's love sharing this with everyone.
So we appreciate you guys spending part of your Labor Day afternoon with us. We are thinking about doing a jewelry show next month to really feature more of the stories and all. We just kind of briefly touched on the jewelry today, so we're looking at doing that, and we're also looking at doing a special Veterans Day virtual event with an Uncle Warrior. And I'm looking toward Christmas already. I'm trying to get a little ahead and plan these things. Looking at doing a special reading, Christmas reading on my page, Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. So if you haven't liked my author page, Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, be sure and like it so that you'll get notified of that.
And our web address is choctawspirit.com.
Yeah, so Lori says, that was fun. I'm so glad you guys had fun. We wanted to just bring some joy and have some Labor Day fun with you guys. And you gonna say Chpisa Lachki?
Oh, yes.
Okay, go ahead. You wanna say Chpisa Lachki?
Oh, yes. Chpisa Lachki.
Yeah, which means we'll see you again sometime soon. So Chpisa Lachki. You guys have a great rest of your Labor Day. So yeah, you wanna turn it off. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you again, Molly, the marvelous Molly, and all the Choctaw artists who participated.